too late.
I think last year, do you remember when we did the podcast, we talked and I told you for me, looking at the economy and everything that's going on, the train was off the tracks, but we hadn't fallen yet.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people comment, but like, you're exactly right, because in our business, in the fuel business, I'll be 100% honest. A lot of people aren't willing to come on and say things, but you go from October, November, December, January, February, we're down like 35 to 40% in fuel cells. The economy is really starting to take hold. I've got racers every day calling, saying, hey, rather than buying 4 drums that I'd normally buy, I'll buy just 1 or 2 to just kind of get me by. And I know I speak to a lot of speed shops all over the country, not just in the United States. I'm talking, people in other countries and islands down the Caribbean that are really struggling also.
Yeah.
Because you got the inflation, you got the higher interest rates, the disposable income. You have needs and wants in life, and racing is a want, not a need. Mm-hmm. And so we're seeing a downtick, and there's a lot of shops that have been closing lately. I mean, there's a lot of facilities, speed shops that aren't making it right now. So, one of the guys, I had a racer call me and I chatted with him a little bit, and we decided not to sell him any fuel, or he decided not to buy any fuel. And the whole reason is we were talking about stuff, and we literally went through a couple of credit cards that didn't go through. And, I was like, what are you trying to do here?
Yeah.
I mean, live to see another day. And I think that's where a lot of racers are going to be at this year. I think a lot of your bigger events, they'll be okay, but your smaller events, everybody's going to do more grassroots racing, because it's not going to cost as much to get there. But people that used to race maybe 18 to 22 times, I think are going to only race maybe 8 to 12 times.
Well, I think about it for myself too. Like, you make these one-time investments in the beginning of the year, and you have all this product on hand for the rest of the year, like just oils and stuff like that. And I'm like you're saying, live to race another day, like kind of conserve now, because I always kind of am in this mindset of, I guess, like one morning the shit's gonna hit the fan, and I don't want to be left holding this bag of stuff that I don't need. Right. And maybe that's just a worry mindset.
I think you're exactly right.
Because like one morning you wake up, like your cell service doesn't work anymore, and then
like
what
today,
the hell's going on?
Yeah, when people see the podcast, so today is the day. So it is 2/22/24. I think there's something with the 24/24 conspiracy people here where AT&T decided to take a dump on everybody today.
And something like that happens, and you're just like, what's going on now?
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're like, maybe my currency is actually not useful anymore.
When I talk to racers, I try to, get to know them a little bit, a little bit of their history, really have a personal feel with them. And the recommendation, which I don't think most companies would tell you, is like shelve it for a year. Don't put your family, don't put yourself in financial hardship. Like, we're all competitive. We want to go out there and kick people's ass and have fun and do this. But sometimes you got to know when to reel it in, because you may take the risk and lose everything you've got just on 1 year of racing, where if you pull back or maybe just, I'm going to let this year ride, live to see another day. You might be able to get, farther in the future racing again, but don't overly stress yourself trying to make ends meet just to do it just for this year, because, life's a triathlon. It's an Ironman. It's not a sprint.
Yeah, and that's
the way I look at things, and that's the way I look at my companies and businesses when I start them up. You got your swim, your bike, your run. You got ups and downs with everything, but just take your time. Don't make any knee-jerk reactions, and don't especially when things are tight like they are right now. Don't overforce the issue.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit, I think, last time, like the traveling for races, like people are going to be way less likely to go for that 20-hour drive to go race.
Right.
Versus, like you're saying, the local grassroots stuff is going to boom, but then the big level stuff is always going to be fine because they have the big sponsors.
But they're still hurting because a lot of the big sponsors have pulled out of racing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of big-time racers that I know that I work with that have completely lost, $300,000 to $500,000 sponsors that are struggling, trying to figure out what do we do. And then, a lot of them are like, well, do we take loans out? What do we do? Because it's a little bit harder for the big guys, because once you're out, it's hard to get your name reestablished to get sponsors to come back in for the pro guys.
Yeah.
It's one of those, once you're out, man, it's a struggle to get your name back and get everything back going again. But for the guys in that mid-pack range, I mean, they are struggling, and that's one thing, at Ignite that we really work hard on is to keep our price down. I mean, this will be year number 3. We haven't had a price increase. All of our inputs, everything we've got is going up, but we really work hard to keep our prices down. And it's tough for me being a small company, because I answer all the phone calls, everything comes into me. And it's hard to tell everybody every day. I bet you 15 to 20 times that I get, hey, can you sponsor us? Can you give us free fuel? And what I tell people is, man, I'd love to, but we're a small company. We can't afford to do that. But, you know, hey, if we start doing a bunch of sponsorships, who pays for it? The racer does. I got to start raising my prices to cover. You know, they don't think about things that way. Or I'll tell them, hey, you know, if you want a sponsorship, you know, send me 3 or 4 of your friends, let them help buy some fuel versus putting a sticker on your car. Then we can talk. And then all of a sudden you get crickets on the other end.
Yeah.
You know, but one thing I want to tell everybody is, Cooper, you've been doing an absolutely amazing job with the podcast. I'm extremely proud of you.
Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti clips coming up.